So let's get right into it. We've all been there, right? You're doing the affirmations, you're visualizing success, you're meditating on abundance. And it feels pretty good. But then you look at your bank account and nothing's really changed. Today, we're going to talk about that missing piece, that critical bridge between thinking rich and actually being rich. It is such a frustrating question, isn't it? You're doing all this inner work, you're feeling positive, you truly believe it's possible. And yet, when you open your eyes, the real world, it looks exactly the same. So what's the deal? Why does it feel like all that positive energy is just fizzling out? Well, the answer really comes down to understanding these two different worlds that we're all living in all the time. On one side, you've got your inner world. This is your headspace, right? It's where all your thoughts, your feelings, your big dreams, and visualizations live. But then there's the outer world, and that's the world of cold, hard facts, your bank balance, your actual circumstances, the results you can see and touch. For most people, there is a massive canyon between these two worlds. And this, right here, is the key to everything. The bridge. It's action. That's it. It is the only thing that can take all that amazing potential from your inner world and actually make it real in the outer world. Without action, all those rich thoughts, all those brilliant ideas, they just stay trapped in your head, and that just leads to a whole lot of frustration. Okay, so if action is the bridge, what's the giant troll standing in the way, stopping us from crossing it? It comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful four-letter word: fear. Fear, doubt, and worry. These are the things that keep us completely stuck. They are the biggest obstacles to not just our success, but to our happiness too. Now, here's where things get really interesting. Most of us think the goal is to get rid of fear, right? To just completely eliminate it. But you know what? That's totally the wrong way to look at it. To really succeed, you've got to change your entire relationship with fear. I want you to think of fear like a cobra. Now, a true warrior knows you can't kill the cobra. That's just impossible. And they definitely don't run from it because then the cobra's in charge, isn't it? No, a true warrior learns to tame the cobra. They see it, they respect its power, but they never, ever let it tell them what to do. And that quote really gets to the absolute core of what separates successful people from everyone else. You think rich people don't feel fear? Of course they do. They have doubts, they have worries, just like the rest of us. The difference is they just don't let those feelings stop them. They act anyway. If you're going to wait for fear to magically disappear before you take action, well, you're going to be waiting forever. So this whole idea of acting despite fear leads us right to another massive problem: our obsession with being comfortable. I mean, think about it. What is the desire for comfort really? It's just a manifestation of fear. It feels safe, it feels cozy, but in reality, it's the #1 enemy of growth. Okay, here's an equation I want you to burn into your brain for the rest of your life. CZ equals WZ. Your comfort zone equals your wealth zone. It is a direct one-to-one relationship. The bigger your comfort zone needs to be, the smaller your life and your wealth will become. Fewer risks, fewer opportunities, no new strategies. If you want to get richer, you absolutely must be willing to get more uncomfortable, period. Let's put it this way. Say you're living what you'd call a level 5 life, and you want to get to a level 10 life. You can't just snap your fingers and be there. To get there, you have to travel through levels 6, 7, 8, and 9. And guess what? That whole area, that is the uncomfort zone. The only time you are actually, truly growing is when you are stepping outside of what feels easy and familiar. Let me tell you a quick story that just nails this idea perfectly. So there's a seminar in Seattle, and a guy stands up and he's raving about this course. He says it totally changed his friends' lives. But then he says he's not going to the next one himself. Why? Because it's in Vancouver, which is, get this, a 3-hour drive away. This speaker's response was super blunt, but it was so true. He just looked at him and said, "You're frickin' broke." And here's why that's so profound. If you let a little thing like a 3-hour drive stop you, then anything will stop you. It's not about how big the challenge is. It's about how big you are. Are you the kind of person who gets stopped easily? Or are you the kind of person who just refuses to be stopped? Okay, so let's bring this home. How does this whole battle with fear and our love of comfort actually play out when it comes to making money? Let's connect these ideas to two very specific things that keep most people's incomes totally capped.
Yeah, these are the big ones. First, there's the fear of promoting yourself and telling people about the value you offer. And second, there's the fear of getting paid based on your actual results instead of a steady, secure paycheck. Both of these are rooted deep in that desire for comfort and avoiding the discomfort of risk.
And just look at the difference here. On one side, you have trading your time for money. It feels secure, but let's be honest, it's a decision based in fear. The fear that you can't actually earn enough based on your performance. And it automatically puts a hard ceiling on your income. But on the other side, getting paid for results, sure, it feels like a risk, but it's based on a powerful belief in your own value. And the potential, it's completely uncapped.
And this brings us to what is maybe the number one non-negotiable rule for building wealth. Never have a ceiling on your income. The second you decide to trade your time for money, you've broken this rule, because there are only so many hours in a day. Your time is finite.
So, if we're going to act despite fear, if we're going to step out of our comfort zone, and if we're going to uncap our income, what's the one ultimate skill we need to master? Well, it all comes down to understanding how your own mind works and realizing that you are the one in charge, not the other way around. You have to understand, your mind is an incredible storyteller. In fact, it's probably the greatest soap opera scriptwriter in history. It can cook up these amazing dramas, these unbelievable disasters, and these worst-case scenarios about things that, let's be real, will probably never, ever happen. Learning to manage this inner drama queen is the single most important skill you can ever develop for success. You know, Mark Twain just nailed it. He said, "I've had thousands of problems in my life, most of which never actually happened." It's so true. Most of our fear, our worry, our anxiety, it's all based on mental fiction. The trick is to realize you are not your mind. You are the one who gets to observe your mind, and you are the one who chooses which thoughts get your attention and which ones you act on. So how do we start putting this into practice, like right now? It begins with claiming a brand new identity. I want you to try these 3 powerful declarations. And don't just say the words, feel them, live them. This is how you start to actually become the change instead of just thinking about it. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Comfort might feel safe, but it is the silent killer of dreams, of ideas, and of your potential. Real happiness and real wealth, they don't come from living a lukewarm life. They come from growth. And growth only ever happens when you're willing to step into the discomfort. The choice, as always, is yours.